Hello everybody, it is Jamie. I want to quickly review my new phone, which is the ZTE Majesty I just got. It's on the Straight Talk service plan, which I love having. I've gotten them since they first came out because I like having no contract phones and just paying one low monthly rate for getting everything. Let's talk, text, web, all that good stuff. So this phone I got because it was the first phone since my old phone, which is this old LG55C, which I did love. I mean, don't get me wrong, for me, this was a great phone because I absolutely love having the keyboard built in. I'm just a huge tactile person. I just love having that. So I kept this on forever. It was, running an Android system. But eventually it got to the point where I had an issue. And the issue with Android phones is that they tend to have a limited internal memory, and if you can't port your programs out into the SD card, well, then you're going to have a lot of trouble fitting everything in. Fortunately, there's some apps you can get out there that kind of work around that, but really having the big internal memory is a big deal, and this guy technically has like 1.6 gigabytes of internal memory. The usability is about, from what I've seen, about just barely touching 1 gigabyte, but it's enough to deal with the major programs that I like. And it's cool when you open it up. You can see I have a little voluntarist background cover from the comic series I produce. But you hold that in, and then boom, it opens right up. And what I just really liked was how smooth the phone runs, because it has a 1.2 megahertz processor, which is pretty competitive. I know a lot of phones have dual cores these days, but for what it is, it's pretty smooth running. Has the expandable SD card slot, like many Android phones do these days. It's running Android 4.1, and I put a 32 gigabyte Ultra SD card in there. That's a 30 megabyte transfer because I like to have the ability to do a lot of video and pictures, and I have Vine on there, Instagram, Facebook. So those are really important things to me. So I had to have a phone that could handle those processes and that data. It's got multiple home screens you can kind of slide through, and what's kind of cool is you actually will slide through to the other side. I don't know if you can see here, but if you slide all the way through, unlike the old ones where it stopped, this actually goes back around. And it's got all the typical features. You can turn on and off your Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, data sync, all that good stuff. I actually had no problem syncing it with my Bluetooth in my car. I have built-in Bluetooth with my car, and so I just plugged it in, synced it up. Works fine. Ported the contacts of Facebook, great. And then it has all these different application widgets in here, and they work, from what I've seen so far, very smoothly. Everything usually moves pretty quick, and I've already installed a decent amount of programs in there, stuff that I use regularly, and haven't had any problems. Email syncs just like that, no issues from what I've seen. It's 3G service. And where I'm at, I'm constantly getting good internet connection. Test out the Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi, works like a charm. Although I prefer to usually use the 3G. Music playing through it, no issues. So I was able to plug in even the little audio ear jack. Tested that out using earbuds, and like the little microphone drop down worked great. And overall, I'd say that it really does keep with the competition. It may not be as lightning fast as maybe using the Samsung Galaxy S4, which I believe you could also get on Straight Talk. You get the iPhone 5 as well. I think the iPhone 5S should be coming to it too soon. But basically, for what this is, the price was about $180, and with tax, and I got 2-year warranty plan from Walmart, came out to about $230. So to have a phone that basically does all those amazing functions that you like out of Android, works super quick, has good reception, all the functionality is just right there, and has a pretty, sizable screen. Just comparing with my old phone, this guy's a little bit of a honker, and you can kind of see there, especially with the slide. And I kept this around for so long because I'm a huge slider fan, but they just don't make them anymore, and that sucks. So if I need to have the programs and the built-in memory, I had to get rid of that part. And I think the overall schematics is pretty good. I think the one thing that I kind of missed from the old phone is the way that it did the email porting was just a little bit more intuitive, with like marking things on red. I think that design was a little bit better in the Android 3 system, but overall, you know, pretty easy to adapt to. And then, of course, there's the big part that, for me, ties into that storage part, and that's the camera front-facing and rear-facing. This does actually have both the front-facing and the rear-facing camera, which is pretty darn wicked. Now, the front-facing camera, I would say, has the quality of about my old camera. It's nothing that great. The audio quality on the front-facing isn't that like fantastic, but it does a job. You know, it's a, I think it's like a 0.3 megapixel. It's really small. It really is just like a web level camera, but that's good enough for if you want to do vines, if you want to send a message via video. That's a, you know, it's a good size and good quality to do that really quick. And then of course the front-facing camera, you know, when it's on, works, I'd say, fairly well. I've tested it a number of times. Let's see right here. If I just take a picture of me on the computer, and there we saw it with a flash and everything too. So just to show, oops, put on the gallery real quick. And it asks, do you want to do an action just once or always too, which is kind of cool. So it's kind of just showing right now. You can see there's my Logitech C910 camera on my nice Pavilion 22 BW monitor. I got a couple of those actually. The IPS monitors are great, but you can kind of see there quality's, you know, pretty good. It's only 5 megapixel, which is small compared to what a lot of other companies are doing these days. But again, this is about quality. Does it, you know, does it do what you need? Does it produce the results for general use, for taking pictures of friends when you're out, you know, things like that? It does the job. And I mean, for the price, to have a phone that, you know, if the worst case scenario that anything ever happened to this or lost it, of course I have the warranty coverage, but you know, it's just not that big of a hassle and deal for having such good quality. It doesn't take a huge chunk out of my wallet and you know, throw away otherwise disposable income that I'd like to use for other things. I mean, it really does do the functions well. Now, how long do I think something like this would last me? I don't know. I mean, maybe a year and a half with the way technology is going, especially with phones. Because I mean, if 4G is kind of the new standard, and you know, as much as service areas are still being built in, you know, it pretty much by next year this is probably going to be outdated. But so what? I mean, you know, you could still sell it after that, especially on the Straight Talk network. You can always port your phones pretty easy. So overall, I would definitely recommend this phone. I mean, I waited forever to get it. I kid you not, I had email notes online like telling me the second it comes for sale, and I literally would just check Walmart when I was there, and finally a couple came in and I bought one, and they literally always sell out just like that because they're going to be a hot Christmas item. So I hope that kind of gave you a little overview of the phone and its functions, and I will talk to y'all